Are you sick of your country being flooded with illegal immigrants? Well, if you are, I'm sorry, but there's nothing you can do, because even if you vote against it, the British government are going to do it anyways. I am Johnny Massacre, and welcome to my world. May your stay here be interesting. Who is with me? Give me a hell yeah! So the news today is that the UK government have appealed a migrant hotel shutting down that housed an illegal migrant that sexually assaulted a 14-year-old girl. Yes, the UK government wants these people in their country, and it's created such a stir online. Not only has it created a whole counter movement called #RaiseYourColours, where people fly the British flag, but also Elon Musk has weighed in on it. He got involved, and he was posting all over X. Elon Musk was posting stuff like this out. He said, "People of the great nations of Britain and Ireland, rally now to save your beautiful countries." Yes, this is really something that Elon Musk posted. Elon Musk said, "Britain is Epping. All of Britain is Epping." Now, what he's talking about here is the judges overruling the migrant hotel being shut down. This is what the local council wanted, and this is also what the people wanted, because well, there was tons and tons of protests, which tells you that the people didn't want these migrant hotels in their town. But nevertheless, the government sued to keep the hotel open anyways. Now, you can see here what that looks like. The Telegraph said a judge who ruled migrants can stay in an Essex hotel was the chairman of a prominent socialist think tank. So not only did these judges overrule this migrant hotel shutting down, which is what everybody wanted, but the judges who presided over that are left-wing. And one of them's a feminist, apparently, and one of them created a socialist think tank. Absolutely crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy news. So what does it look like, ladies and gentlemen? Let's have a look at the reasoning to keep this migrant hotel open. So they say that during a summary of his judgment, Lord Justice Bean said that Epping residents' fear of crime was properly taken into account. Criticizing the decision to grant a temporary injunction, he spoke of the incentivization of protests in what were worrying aspects of the judgment. The judge gave weight in his evaluation to the fact that the protests were occurring and weighed them in balance. If an outbreak of protest enhances the case for a planning injunction, this runs the risk of acting as an impetus or incentive for further protests. So the reasoning, one of the main reasons to keep this hotel open is to stop protests, according to the judge, even though the hotel being open is what caused the protests. I can see what he's trying to say, which is if we allow people to protest, if we validate protests by going along with what they want, it's going to make more protests. That's his reasoning. The people, though, are protesting because these illegal migrants from war-torn third world countries are sexually assaulting underage girls. So essentially what the judge is saying, if people don't want their underage daughters to be sexually assaulted and raped by illegal migrants, then we can't allow them to have their way. That's essentially what the protest is. It's saying, like, don't sexually assault and rape young girls in the town. This shows you how screwed the UK is. All of the people of this area don't want this migrant hotel there. The local council doesn't want the migrant hotel there. They've written letters to the government multiple times. And actually, like, all of the people don't want the migrants there. They didn't vote for this kind of government. And also, the entire country doesn't want the migrant hotel there. They don't want it. And they don't. But the government said, we can't let the people have what they want. If we do, then they're going to try to push us to do more things that they want. So the UK government is now actively oppressing its own people. It's actively acting against the interests of its own people. Completely insane. And Elon Musk is bringing attention to the matter. It's kind of ironic that it's taken a South African in America to kind of highlight this issue, but I'll take it, bruv, because something desperately needs to be done about it. The whole country doesn't want the migrant hotel there, and yet the UK government have appealed to keep it open. And I can prove what I'm saying, because here is the seat projection if a general election was actually held today. The party who's pro-deportation is known as Reform would win an outright majority with 397 seats, and the current Labour government would completely collapse. The reason why the Labour government is collapsing is because they're pro-deportation, proved by the fact that they kept this migrant hotel open. So the people, this is fucking mad. So the people actually across the whole country, not just Epping where this migrant hotel is, want to shut down this hotel and don't want there to be migrant hotels. And the judge's reasoning is like, we can't let the majority have what they want, otherwise then they're going to ask for more of the things that they want. The UK is really, really screwed right now. It's super, super screwed. So that's what's going on. The UK government wants to keep on bringing in millions and millions of unvetted men from war-torn countries who disproportionately commit sexual assaults. The truth hurts. The truth isn't very nice, but the truth is the truth is the truth. The only person who's doing anything about this is Rupert Lowe, the guy who was part of the party that's projected to get into power. How's that for a black pill? They unceremoniously kicked him out and called the police on him and threatened him with all this stuff. He's the only guy who's doing inquiries into migrant grapes, migrant crimes, putting in freedom of information requests, and doing investigations, doing fundraisers, all those things. He just came out with this information on X yesterday. He said growth in foreign national sexual offence convictions. India, 257% in the UK. Nigeria, 166%. Iraq, 160%. Sudan, 117% growth. Afghanistan, 115% growth. Bangladesh, 100. Portugal, 73. Eritrea, 60. Iran, 57. Bulgaria, 54. Pakistan, 47. Somalia, 46.2. So, like, Pakistan, who still disproportionately commit a sexual assault in the UK, they're on the lower end of the list, and they are in the eye of the storm of the scandal of the grape gangs that have been operating for 30 years plus in the UK. So if they commit less of the grapes in the UK, then my goodness gracious, what the hell is going on at the top end of this list? Yes, foreigners from these countries do disproportionately commit grapes and sexual assaults. Yes, the UK government is doing all it can to bring them to the country and to keep them in the country, even when they are assaulting young girls in the area. Freaking mad stuff. Mad stuff that's going on in the UK. So Elon Musk getting involved. Elon Musk said the nightmare happening to Epping and hundreds of other towns in Britain and Ireland will come to your town too, unless it's stopped by the people. Why is it only Elon Musk who's sticking up for the UK? Elon Musk said, as goes Epping, so goes all of England. So the UK government went to court and argued that the rights of asylum seekers trump the people of Epping. The UK government now is serving foreigners without visas, without passports, who they know nothing about, first over their own people. So Britain desperately needs a revolution, and fast. They said it in court. The rights of asylum seekers trump those of British nationals. That's what their lawyers said. The rights of illegal migrants are more important than the people of Epping. It should trigger a general election, but I won't hold my breath. So this was the timeline of the court case where the government won to keep this grapey migrant hotel open. 10:45, large numbers of asylum seekers are potentially destitute, say the Home Office. The Home Office are responsible for asylum and borders. 10:32, leading up to that, They said accommodating asylum seekers is in national interest. So we actually, UK gains something from having asylum seekers who grape and sexual assault young girls. National interest. UK economy screwed. Let's bring in millions of people who don't have a job and who the taxpayer has to fund. That's in our national interest. This is what the UK government is saying. At 10:20, an injunction stopped the Home Secretary doing her job of housing migrants. So everything stemmed from there for this original injunction that stopped this hotel. And that injunction was a kind of like a ray of hope that, okay, if this one migrant hotel legally isn't allowed to house migrants because the purpose of the hotel that was submitted presumably to the municipal office was to serve tourists and even locals and whatnot, then that could be therefore you can't discriminate against who stays and only reserve it for legal asylum seekers, and therefore you could extend that to the rest of the UK and try to shut down all the migrant hotels. So you can see why the government so desperately tried to overturn this ruling, which it did so successfully. This is the Home Office who's in charge of asylum and who's arguing the case. It's actually made up of migrants themselves. So you can see how screwed the UK is. You bring in all these like unvetted migrants, and then you actually give these people jobs because that's what you do in socialism, to each according to his need, from each according to his ability. And then when those people you imported are inside the system, inside the courts, inside the government, like inside the infrastructure, then they will start pushing more policies to bring more people like that along. That's why they're there in the first place, and that's how they justify their paycheck. So UK is actually, it's being replaced by people who are, hostile to its interests, in my personal opinion. So that the Home Office there, which is made up of migrants, they released this statement, and they said, Home Office statement on Epping Court of Appeal case. We inherited a chaotic asylum accommodation system costing billions. So they're blaming it on someone else. It's not our fault. Even though they just argued, as you saw there, that it's in our national interest to bring in more people, which makes it chaotic. They're saying they inherited the chaotic system. They say this government will close all hotels by the end of this parliament, and we appealed this judgment. So hotels like the Bell can be exited in a controlled and orderly way that avoids the chaos of recent years that saw 400 hotels open at a cost of $9 million a day. So their argument is we need to keep this hotel open, because if we don't, we're going to have to open even more hotels. So they're not even talking about the issue that these people shouldn't be here in the first place. And they're saying it's in the country's national interest to bring more in. They're just saying like, well, what are we going to do with them? We're going to have to open more places. They're just conveniently glossing over that fact that they're actually, they want these people to be here. And they're saying they're going to close all the hotels. Oh, that sounds good. So you're going to get rid of the migrants? No, actually they're not. So what is going to happen is they're going to be given something even worse, which is public housing. So if you didn't like having grapey migrants in a building somewhere in the community, now they're going to be kind of like hedged through the community and spread out. They could be next to you, could be your neighbor, in taxpayer funded council houses. So if you thought one hotel was expensive to the taxpayer, it costs billions every single year. You fucking wait until you have to shoulder the cost for a house, an individual building for every single fucking migrant. One building, loads of migrants in one building, or loads and loads and loads and loads of buildings housing those individual migrants. You're just extrapolating the problem to something much worse. That's what the Home Office is actually talking about when they're saying we need to keep this hotel open so we don't have to open more hotels, so we can process these people and fix the asylum problem. All they're doing is they're going to implant them in the community at an even greater cost. Not just one building for like 100 people. You're going to have like presumably 50 buildings housing 2 people each. So that's what they're actually going to do. Channel migrants first for fast-track asylum hearings as Cooper moves to close hotels. Okay, so Yvette Cooper is the Home Secretary in the UK. She's overseeing this massive clusterfuck. And Leo Kast lets us know what's going to happen. He says in 2022, 76% of asylum claims were successful. So what that means is they got houses. They got out of the hotel into a house. The government is solving the migrant hotel crisis by giving them all residency. So that's where it is going. And you see the fallout from this. You have these migrant hotels and you have loads of migrants. You have 12-year-old girls brandishing butcher knives and hatchets trying to defend themselves. And then when the UK populace try to defend themselves, they get arrested. They get arrested for reacting to the problem that the UK government imported. The UK government, however, can defend itself with guns from the problem that they imported. You can't even defend yourself with a fucking kitchen knife. So the UK is in such a bad way. You're seeing these mad optics and hearing these mad stories on a daily basis now. The truth is coming to light, and the truth is so ugly, and it's been left festering for so long, and the government have been trying to cover it up for so long, and people have been turning a blind eye for so long, that now it's morphed into this fucking horrible monster that's escaped and is rampaging across social media, and you can't contain it, no matter what they try to do. So these are the judges that ruled that the Epping Migrant Hotel had to stay open. Justice Bean, on the left, who once edited a far-left manifesto for the Society of Labour Lawyers, it's the current UK government, left-wing government. In the middle, Justice Nicola Davies, a Labour-voting feminist, right, middle-class white woman, with her pathological matriarchal instinct to mother everything, even if the thing she's mothering is a wolf in sheep's clothing. And Justice Cobbs on the right, who wanted to overturn Brexit. These are the people that said the migrant hotel has to stay open. That's what they ruled. One of them, he was a founding member of Matrix Chambers, which was the same barristers' chambers of one Philip Sands, advisor to the Mauritian government over Chagos. So the Chagos Islands, the UK government had these islands, and then they paid the people whose islands, who lived on the island, to take the islands from them when they already owned them, to the tune of like fucking tens of billions of dollars when the country's already in a recession. Yeah, that guy, he was a founding member of that unit of lawyers. He ruled that the hotel has to stay open. He's also a member of the Fabian Society. So there's some people talking about this, the Fabian Society, and what it kind of means and whatnot. Basically, it's a British socialist society. So apparently he's a member of that. Lord Justice David Bean. I really hope this is not true, that we have a communist judge. But I think let's have a look. Is this just scurrilous gossip? Political leanings of two judges involved in Epping Migrant Hotel case and who they sided with. Okay. We're waiting on confirmation for that. Oh no, here we go. Oh no, this is on Facebook. So, anyways, so the judges are clearly leftists. Clearly. One of the judges, that same judge, he was a prominent member of which was Cherie Blair. Okay. No, that doesn't make sense. That's badly written. He's been a member of the Labour Party, the government who wanted to overturn this ruling for 28 years. So apparently he was the chair of the Fabian Society, which advocates in favour of migrants. We'll have to wait and see if that's true. Clearly left-leaning though. Clearly. Elon Musk commented on it. And he said if this terrible judge was sentenced to live in the Epping Hotel with violent migrants, he would change his mind very quickly. And this guy has been, according to Basil the Great on X, reported to the Conduct Authority for alleged bias in his decision-making. Have to wait and see how that story developed. And it turns out he edited a publication that called for incorporating the European Convention of Human Rights into British law back in 2005. That Convention of Human Rights is really one of the things that fucks the UK. It means that we have when we want to deport people, it's really fucking difficult because we have to look to a legal standard that's not of the UK, it's of Europe. And so it adds this kind of like other layer of bureaucracy that makes it really fucking difficult to actually deport any of these people. So I'm not surprised that he supports that. And Elon Musk accused the British government of committing treason against its people. Elon Musk is constantly retweeting things about population replacement, about how there's like a disproportionate amount of sexual assaults from migrants. For example, Harry Robinson on X said, the judge has decided that your daughters may get raped, but that's a sacrifice he's willing to make to preserve the status quo. And Elon Musk said that is unconscionable. So Elon Musk posted this about grape and sexual assault, say, on X. He said, history will call this the grape of Europe. And he's talking about official Office for National Statistics, an official Office for National Statistics graph that shows from 2014 to 2025, the amount of grape offences has skyrocketed from under 20,000 to 80,000. And this is the point when mass migration exploded in the UK. Grape offences have risen by 438% since 2013. And you can see that I've already shown you government statistics found out by Rupert Lowe showing you that, you know, people from these third world countries disproportionately, I can't pronounce that word today, disproportionately commit these offences. But the judge said, we can't let these protesters who don't want those offences to be committed on those daughters win. Otherwise, they'll be incentivized to try to stop other things from happening in their community, such as grape. This is where we are in the UK, G. Is where we are in the UK. Like, even normies are talking about this. I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but apparently he's the ultimate normie. He's just on UK TV, some gay personality, TV personality with very shiny white teeth. If you want to see your reflection and do your hair, just ask him to smile, bruv. And he's on this milk toast TV program called This Morning, and he said, look, well, there's all these people from these countries we don't know anything about, and he said, if I forget my passport and I come from Spain to England, that I can't come into the country. They're going to make me go back and get it. They want to see who I am. But then there's people without passports who like don't have shiny white teeth and clearly aren't like well-meaning and well-mannered and whatnot, and you're just like, not only are you letting them in, like, you're fucking like giving him free shit, and like you're gonna give him a house, and I have to pay for it as a British person. What? So he basically said that in the most mature way possible, and he had to step down. They basically fired him. So the UK, the government is captured, and even the right-wing government is captured, because the most of this illegal migration occurred like last year when it was the right-wing government. It's like the equivalent of Trump's government was in power. All of the UK governments are captured. The judiciary is captured. And the media is captured, that everything's captured, and it's all Marxist, left-wing, communist, Fabian society. You saw it there. If that's true, it's a belief in, like, there's these oppressed people, and we have to take your money, the productive people, and give it to the oppressed people, and that's how we get power and take over and stay in control. All of these asylum seekers, they're going to vote for more benefits from a left-leaning government. That's why I think they're doing it. So the UK is in massive trouble. Elon Musk is pointing it out. Hopefully we can do something about it. But then you see news like this, like, you know, Labour came out. Keir Starmer, the mad thing is, the left even know people don't want it, and they still do it anyways. And they say that they're not doing it, but communists, all they do is lie. Keir Starmer, he actually, I wish I had it up. He actually posted something out. He posted it out, and he said, if you're here illegally, take my word for it, this is definitely what he said. He said, if you're, like, it's like this, look, this is what the Prime Minister posted out a couple of days ago. He said, if you come to this country illegally, you will face detention and return. That's what the Prime Minister says. But at the same time, we've got this news. Gazan students have been granted approval to study in the UK. So like even the Labour government know people don't want it. Proved by the fact that if an election was held today, as you've seen by the official statistics, they'd lose in a landslide. And yet, they still do it anyways, but they say that they're not doing it because they know if they say it, it's going to look even worse than them just doing it without saying it. So, like, not only are they bringing in all these illegals, but they're lying about it as well and saying they're getting rid of them, and then they're bringing in more, and they make it even worse by trying to legalize illegal shit. Like, I'm sorry, bro, but someone from Gaza, a place where they teach like 3-year-olds to hold AK-47s and Erdemay the UJs, those people are all illegal in my book. Just because you grant them approval to study doesn't mean they're suddenly legal. So Labour's saying they're going to deport people, not really deporting people, just legalising all these illegals. Fucking mad. Freaking crazy. What happens if you allow random people into your palace that you don't know? Well, look at this post on the New York Post. Homeless man kills mum of 3 with mallet after she invites him to stay in a London apartment. Don't invite people you don't know into your country because you don't know what they're going to do to you, especially if they're from fucked up countries. Want a black pill? Well, that political party that apparently is projected to win by all metrics, they've only pledged to deport 600,000 in the first 5 years of their rule. That's 120,000 per year, which is less than 3 times what the previous Labour governments were doing. That's what the people who are supposedly like the Nationalist Party are going to do when they get in. And that guy said he's not going to deport women and children. Fucking idiot. That means all the people who come over are just going to have babies, which is going to help them stay. That is the party that's going to come in. That is why Elon Musk said the guy who leads that party, Nigel Farage, can't be trusted. Right? Do you remember that? When Elon Musk was getting behind him, they said he can't be trusted because he's also part of the Uniparty. The only person who can do something about it is a guy called Rupert Lowe. He's the only guy with the correct policy on all of these issues. He got kicked out of that party. Elon Musk is now supporting Advance. Advance is headed by this guy called Habib. Don't know much about him. The problem with him is doesn't have much personality. So what Advance needs to do is put Rupert Lowe as the head of Advance. If they do that and Elon Musk funds it, there's still 4 years till the general election. Reform's only really gained traction in the last couple of years. Then Advance could potentially usurp Reform, but it's going to be difficult because Reform has a quite a big following now, and it means Advance will cannibalize their vote, and then you might get Labour coming in again, who's not popular, but they're just more popular than 2 other popular parties who are cannibalizing the vote. So UK is, even if Reform gets in, and all polls say they will, they're probably not going to fix it either. It's just a slightly slower death. So the migrant hotels stay open, bruv. What do you think about that? Do you think that it is in the UK's national interest to house millions of third world economic migrants from like Africa, Syria and Afghanistan who, as you've seen there from official government statistics, disproportionately commit rape and actual say assault? Or do you think, well, that's a bad idea? I'd like to know your thoughts. What is up, everybody? Dazza J in the comments says, I just found your channel, pal. I'll be sharing it with friends. I've liked, subbed, and I'll be watching and liking, doing my part. Much love to you, Dazza J. UK! England! Let's fucking go, bruv. Do you know what I realised, right, is I've been in Japan for a long time now. And who knows, maybe I'll come back and live in the UK at some point. If shit really pops off, I might have to. But even though things seem dark and things seem fucked up, the Brits, you can't fucking beat the Brits, bruv. When there's a bunch of Brits together, mate, in a crowd, fucking having a chant, and something's pissed us off, you are in major fucking trouble. Did you see what we did to the world, bruv? We had the biggest empire the world has ever fucking known. It's in our DNA, and we're smart as fuck. So if you piss us off, if you wake up the sleeping giant, the sleeping lion, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. You're going to be in a lot of fucking trouble, because the Brits are the fucking best, basically. What language are you speaking, bruv? That answers my question. You are speaking English. That means we are the best. We took over the world for a fucking reason, because we are absolutely hardcore. So, you know, it's taken us a long time to wake up. I haven't seen people start doing anything for a long time, even when things were getting really, really bad. But since the Raise the Colours campaign, which all started from this Epping Migrant hotel protest, something has started to happen. And I said this on my video last week. Finally, something's starting to happen. It's not quite there yet, but the wheels have been set in motion. So momentum is actually building now, and Labour is actually making this worse and worse and worse, antagonising people more and more and more. So the movement's just going to grow and grow and grow. And Labour is a minority government now. You've seen by all polls and metrics, nobody actually they're not the most supported party in the UK. So they actually can't win at this point. And if all the Brits get together and say enough is enough, we want these people out of our country, we're going to do whatever it takes to do that, there's nothing that they can do. So it still can be saved, but we have to fucking make moves right now. It's UK's. If we wait another 4 or 5 years, it's going to be too late. It's going to be too late. Like, the demographic change is going to be too big for us to ever go back. So it has to happen now. People need to know this. There's like a massive sense of urgency. So people have to get aware and start doing their part. And I believe we're going to have to wait and see. Reform is not the answer. Whoever's going to be the right wing opposition to reform, a credible opposition, those are the people we need who are actually going to do mass deportations. I'm even talking, legal migrants who are not net benefactors to the UK. Anyone who's like a net drain on the UK economy, who's not, putting in more than they're taking out, basically has to go, as far as I'm concerned. They just have to go, because this is a country founded on excellence, and anything less than excellence simply will not do. So we've been taken advantage of for so long. And that's how nice the British people are. We get demonized so much. People talk shit on us. The left wing will just resort to their basic bitch talking point, which is like, colonial, racist, all this kind of stuff. Actually, we're the nicest fucking people ever. We opened the doors to the whole fucking world for our country for decades, and we gave them our money to put them in houses and feed them and shit. While our daughters are being raped and like assaulted in the street by the very same people, in spite of that, we still kept silent, and we still have faith in people. That's how fucking nice we are. So if you actually get us to the point like it is now, where we're protesting, we're starting to get pissed off, you've gone way too far. And our kindness and our patience and our generosity has ran out, and we have to take care of ourselves and our families. So the UK government, I'm glad that they overturned the Epping Hotel shutting down. I'm glad they did, because it's things like this that are going to leave no doubt in the British person's mind as to what has to be done next, and as to how evil the enemy is. We needed this, right? It's dude. Even if you don't want grapey migrants in your town, they're going to fucking bring them in, and they're going to put the full weight of the system behind trying to keep them open. So thank you for doing that, UK government. Thank you for keeping the Epping Hotel open. You've let us know now that there's no way to negotiate with you, and we need a drastic change. Yes, Dazza J, the working class has been trodden on for far too long. And in a weird sort of way, this is going to bring a lot of Brits together. Because you're going to see like working class and middle class, right? We can all fucking finally unite under the flag. Like, nobody wants to have their daughters touched by illegal migrants. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to have a shitty economy. Nobody wants to see like shady people without a passport who are unvetted from war-torn third world countries wandering around their neighborhood. Nobody wants that. Working class, middle class. Finally, we can actually fucking come together for like a good like common purpose, right? Which is to fucking get our country back and make that shit great again. So in a weird sort of way, I'm looking forward to coming back to the UK in December, and want to be hanging out with the Brits, want to be hanging out down the pub, mate, bit of fucking fish and chips, you know what I mean, with a pint, yeah? Go to a few raves and just hang out and meet some good people. Hopefully there'll be some good events going on and stuff. But yeah, so the Epping Migrant Hotel stays open. Massive error by the Labour government. It's just going to make people more pissed off and create an even bigger backlash. And they've really shown their true colours. And it ain't red, white and blue, bruv. It's just red for communism with a capital C. There's a J in the comments. Says, I live in a small mining town, Blianavon, and in 6 months we have Africans everywhere up here. So everyone's telling me this. Out in Japan, is like, we basically have no migration. But Slubs in the comments, he's in Glasgow. I think Glasgow is particularly hard hit. He said his daughter was followed home by some of the new imports. So Dazza J, you must have been doing something naughty to find this channel, because it's very, very shadow banned and underground. So congratulations for making it here. So what we're gonna do now, bruv, I'm gonna get some coffees. Shall I take you to the store in Japan on my phone? Shall I take you to the store? And I'm gonna eat some mango, and then we're gonna play some video games, and I'm gonna get destroyed by the FromSoft boss known as Libra, the equilibrious beast. So look, it's a worldwide problem coming to a state near you. Milky T in the comments responding to Dazza J, says, I live in Arkansas and we have the same thing. African farmers harvest every season. Okay, so I should set up another live stream, shouldn't I? You want to see some other news? So Silent Hill, the new Silent Hill game, is it woke? It's not looking good. So Learning the Law on X says gaming journalists after playing Silent Hill F are calling it a pinnacle of horror gaming, standing against oppressive patriarchal rules and male dominance. Now, communists have a vested interest to find oppression even when it doesn't exist, to justify their existence and enable them to bully you and take control of things. So I don't know necessarily if Learning the Law is correct here, but he's always got his finger on the pulse of what's going on in the gaming world. So we should pay attention to what he's showing us here. He says Konami features sponsorship of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development on its website. Yes, a lot of Japanese companies do have this kind of communist propaganda on their websites. I see it when I'm running around in Tokyo. There's a construction site and you see Agenda 2030. I've seen it on trains as well. So he's talking about an article on Game Central that says Silent Hill F hands-on preview and interview. The F is for feminism. So PC Gamer are running an article on this. They say Hinako Shimizu's arc in Silent Hill F is shaped by the Japanese women's rights movement of the 1960s and depicts how she musters the courage to combat repression she encounters. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Let's hope that they're wrong. I mean, there was a human rights movement back then, and in Japan, luckily, they didn't take it too far, and it's still a mainly male-dominated society. That's why we don't have these pathological matriarchs mass importing all these third world migrants, because they just want to mother everyone, even though they're going to go around and grape like the local populace. So I'm kind of glad that feminism and the whole progressive movement didn't take root here like it did in the West. Nevertheless, apparently the video game might have these kind of themes in it. So I did a little bit of reading about this, and one of the guys involved in the game is Motoi Okamoto. He was involved in Silent Hill 2, and he did talk about kind of how like it's there's women's rights and stuff like that. But then since he was involved as a producer with Silent Hill 2, and that had a lot of boober in it with Maria, hopefully he's just kind of being a little bit politically correct and just talking shit, basically trying to appease the kind of woke Western journalists and Western pressure. Let's hope he didn't bend the knee. We'll have to wait and see on that one. There is a new game out, Shinobi Art of Vengeance. So, I don't know, my best mate said he's all up for this and something new could be good. It's a sequel to The Revenge of Shinobi on the Sega Genesis, and I think it looks shit. I hate these kind of modern 2D games. They should just make it with the exact limitations of the original hardware that the prequels came out on. That lends itself very well to the quality of these games, like it or not. But yeah, they didn't do that. So this is the original game, and it's a fucking classic. Not least because of the music by Yuzo Koshiro. I remember seeing this as a kid. Fucking amazing. Look, Yuzo Koshiro, name at the bottom, composed that amazing song. The first level music, I have goosebumps just imagining it. Here we go. Here we go. So amazing. So what do you do with the sequel? How do you make this work? You hire the original composer. He's out there. He's out there for work. It's not like he has too much on his plate. Get him to score the entire game. Already you've won half the battle. Did they do that? No. They got him to do a few tracks and then they paid someone else to do it. Probably saving money. I don't fucking know. But now the new game looks like this. Like it doesn't even look like the original. How does that look anything like the original in any way? Look at it. It's just so ugly. It's just, okay. Too much going on. Too many elemental effects. Too many flashing things. Simplicity is best. It just doesn't look anything fucking like it. And look, he's jumping on massive things of ramen. What the hell is this? Is this a Westerner's interpretation of what Japanese things are like? Ugh, it's really ugly. So that's coming out. But I don't want to talk shit on it because the guy who made the original soundtrack is involved. It's called Shinobi Art of Vengeance. He said he contributed a few tracks, but the main composer created an I don't care about the main composer. So that's out. But I'm not very excited about it, to tell you the truth. So anyways, that's what's going on, everyone. Dazza J in the comments says, bro, I'm 50. I don't know how to play these games, but I'll definitely be following you for your political stuff, helping to save the West, brother. Thank you. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, but thank you, mate. Just really, you're the ones who are going to save the West. It's just people speaking their mind and just being honest about it, and just not accepting what the UK government are doing, and voting for the right people. Dazza. Yeah, let's set up another stream, and I'll take you over there for some more laid back stuff, a cheeky live stream. Let's do that. Cheeky live stream number 165. Pipe and Yellow is not here today. He's out on Labor Day weekend. And he's going to watch Jaws, I think, which is actually quite cool, in the cinema. So we can't play with him, unfortunately. What are we going to call it? Black coffee, mango. Black coffee and mango. Black coffee and mango. In the Tokyo morning, let's call it that. Okay, wicked. You're going to get redirected then from the current stream. So what are you doing for Christmas, Dazza J? Tell me about Christmas. I want to talk to a Brit about Christmas because Christmas gets me so hype. It gets me super hype. Well, sometimes they have in these small independent cinemas, they have these kind of classics, right? They do that a lot in England. I saw a few with my dad. I saw It's a Wonderful Life with my dad. It's like the best film. That's the best Christmas film. It's a fucking amazing film. It's a fucking amazing film. Back to the Future 2, like really, really ripped that off. When Marty goes back and Biff has taken over the city as this kind of evil Trump-esque, I fucking love Trump, by the way, evil Trump-esque, like, businessman. That's a direct rip of It's a Wonderful Life, when the angel sends him back to the town, to a different timeline where things have worked out differently. It's a fucking great film. Super, super great. What's up, Independent Men United? Okay, everyone stay here. I'm going to end the stream and you're going to get forwarded onto the next stream, the cheeky live stream. So we're ending the political talk. Well, we can keep going with it, but it's going to be a bit more relaxed. But I'm going to take you to the Clonken Otter, a virtual British pub with mad British vibes. It's going to be a lock-in. We're all in there together. And there might even be a cheeky pub lunch. So I'll see you there. You're going to be redirected to the next stream.